Adam is losing his mind right now. I got really far in Ignite Me. Hello everybody, my name is Kiara, aka Kiaras.bookshelf, and welcome if you're new and welcome back if you're returning. So this week I decided that I wanted to tackle the Shatter Me series. If you have seen my 25 books I want to read in 2025 video, then you would know that this has kind of been a long time coming because I've had the series for a really long time. So I decided it was finally time to rip the band-aid off and kind of just see what the hype is about. I hope you guys really enjoy this video because I know that I'm definitely going to have a lot of fun making it. So without further ado, let's just get started with the vlog. Okay guys, so I'm here to give you guys my very first update on this story. So immediately we learn that main character Juliet lives in a cell, and I guess she was like alone this whole time, and then she wakes up and she realizes that she has a roommate that is a man, and I guess this has never happened to anyone before, and she is like very scared and like reluctant to be around him. So whenever Juliet asks this guy about like where he came from and like how he came to be locked up just like her, he doesn't really give her any answers, and in fact they kind of like go back and forth just asking each other the same thing, just going around in circles. So in the beginning they never really get to know each other, and I think that's so awkward. I guess Adam is definitely more like excited to talk to her, whereas Juliet is kind of like, I don't want anything to do with you, like you stay on your side of the room and I'll stay on my side. And I do think that's interesting because I think it just goes to show that like she clearly is not around people a lot. So they're taken to a new building where Juliet meets this guy named Warner, and the only thing I know about Shatter Me is that people like seem to really love Warner. Right now I'm not seeing why, because I feel like he is kind of a jerk and he's very mean, but I don't know. I again will be optimistic, but this is as far as I got so far and I am loving it. I even started tabbing it and stuff, which is really cool. I am just really excited to see what is going to happen. Okay guys, so I'm here to give you guys an update because I just finished Shatter Me, and I'm honestly surprised by how much I like this book. I'm actually really excited to keep this series going, and I don't know, I feel like I just have a lot of comments on it. I'm happy to say that there was pretty much nothing that I disliked about this book, and I feel like that is so rare when I'm reading anything, especially if it's like a series. I don't know, I feel like the first book in a series, I usually have like a couple of comments. I don't know, I feel like this book isn't necessarily like 5 out of 5 stars, maybe 4 out of 5, but like that's still very good. So I think it was pretty interesting that in the beginning of the book it was always talked about that no one could touch Juliet or they would die. They mentioned the kid a while ago, and now all of a sudden Warner and Adam can touch her and there's no issue. Looking back on it, I feel like I'm more surprised about Warner being able to touch her than Adam. I feel like the Adam one was a little predictable, but the fact that, you know, Warner is like obsessed with Juliet, I think that kind of makes his obsession even stronger now that he realizes he can touch her and there's like no pain or anything. And so I do like that Warner is pretty much like after her, and Adam technically, but he really just wants Juliet just so he can like use her as a weapon. And so So I'm excited to see like what will happen in the next book as far as like how he will look for her, and like it seems like he is willing to take some very extreme measures to get her. I don't know, I wonder if anyone is going to die in the next book, or like if anyone gets kidnapped or anything. Like I feel like that would be very, very exciting and really fun to add to the story, so I am very excited about that. I also want to say that I really like Kenji. I wasn't really expecting to. Like, I didn't really know too much about Kenji going into this, but I do know that people talked about liking him. When he first popped up, I did think he was a little funny or like witty, I guess, but like I didn't really see the point. But like towards the end, like seeing that he had his own cause that he was a part of, I do think it's pretty cool, and I am excited to see, I guess, how he is as a leader, just to see like if his style is different from Warner's. I can already tell that people seem a lot happier on his side versus on Warner's side, so that is very interesting. And I like that Omega Point is pretty much kind of like a place for everyone, but mainly people that are like Juliet. So I'm wondering if some point in the next book we see Juliet training with other people, or like, you know, things like that. I am really excited and I'm feeling really, really optimistic about it. So with that, I am going to jump into Unravel Me and just kind of like see what goes on. I'm excited to see if they add any more characters to this story. I think that would be pretty exciting. And on the front of this one it says, "They want to find me, I will find them first." So I don't know, I'm wondering if we're going to see Juliet kind of get revenge on Warner in some way. I feel like that would be kind of exciting, but I am just going to jump into this, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying this video so far because I'm having a lot of fun making it. Okay guys, so I am here to give you guys some updates because I just finished the first novella and I just reached chapter 15 of Unravel Me. I'm going to talk about the novella first just because it was so short. So I'm actually very surprised to say that after reading Destroy Me, I don't hate Warner anymore. I kind of like how complicated he is now. The dynamic between Warner and his dad is kind of what made me have like an opinion shift for him, just because I kind of see now that his dad is the reason why he is the way he is, and it sucks. Like, it's like he has this obsession with Juliet, but his dad is also kind of pushing him to keep it going, you know? Like, his dad is way more cruel than Warner will ever be. He seems like he has no remorse when it comes to like hurting people to get what he wants, and it's kind of just seems like whenever Warner was reporting any updates about Juliet that he was kind of just like, okay, I know you're telling me that you think she's in this location, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to send people to take her? Are you going to kill people to get to her? Because that's what I would do. That's pretty much what his dad was like the entire time, and it was like really stressful for Warner, and I found myself kind of wishing his dad wasn't the way that he was. And then following that, I jumped right into Unravel Me, where we see Juliet having a really, really hard time adjusting to this new location, and while Adam is there and Kenji is there to give her a hand, I don't know, it seems like she's having a really hard time socializing and making friends, and it seems like Juliet can't really seem to break away from Adam. Like, he's kind of having his own problems. In fact, since they got to Omega Point, like, Adam has just had a really rough time. Like, he's been like experiencing pains, and he's been getting experimented on like since he's got there after he had surgery because he had like injured himself on the way there. It's making me realize how, I guess, cliche their relationship is a little bit, just as far as like how it was very insta-lovey, and I don't know why I never like noticed that in the first book, but like now I'm kind of like, like they really like jumped into being together literally so fast. And while it kind of worked in the first book, I am like questioning if they're gonna last in this one, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they broke up, just because Adam is just having so many struggles. Like he thinks that he has powers of his own that are kind of the opposite of Juliet's, whereas she inflicts pain. Adam thinks that the reason he doesn't feel pain when Juliet touches him is because he's like some kind of shield. But if that is the case, then that would explain why Adam feels like really fatigued a lot when he's around Juliet, especially in this book. He's just like always exhausted, and so it's kind of like in a way saying that they're not really supposed to be together, and it seems like Juliet is realizing that. So I do kind of like that, and I don't know if that was kind of like a setup for Warner and Juliet to eventually become a thing or not, but like I do like where the storyline is going because it's not as cliche anymore. So overall, I definitely think I am liking this book a little bit more than Shatter Me, but I'm not really sure what my rating for it will be yet. I'm not really sure what my rating for Shatter Me will be yet either. Maybe like towards the end of the series I'll give a rating for everything, but so far I'm kind of just going through the motions of reading the series and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I am going to keep going, and I don't know why, but like I really hope that I get to see more of Kenji and Adam interacting, and maybe even Warner and Juliet towards the end. I would love to see him pop up again, just because Warner has not really been in this book, I don't think at all so far. So I'm like really excited to see what will happen, especially after reading the first novella. I feel like I would be able to see Warner from a different perspective from this point on, and that's really exciting. Hello everybody, so it has been a week since I updated you guys, so I just wanted to come on here and say that I have finished Unravel Me and I loved it so much. I definitely feel like I'm liking this series a lot more than I thought I would. I don't know, like it's so fun and so refreshing, and I genuinely feel like I love everybody. It's just been a really fun time, and I love that we got a lot of Warner content in this. I kind of just don't care about Adam as much, and I hate to say that, but like, I don't know, I feel like Warner and Juliet have so much chemistry, and I feel like when you try to compare Warner's chemistry with Juliet with Adam's chemistry with Juliet, it's not fair because it's obvious that there's like a lot more tension with Warner and Juliet and it feels more realistic. I like that this is kind of a slow burn for them versus Adam and Juliet, which was like very weird and insta-lovey. Like this feels a lot more like natural, and I am really excited to see how their relationship grows. And I definitely want to say that if Warner and Juliet are not together by the end of this, if they are not in game, I'm literally going to riot. And other than the love aspect of this book, I feel like I don't really have too many comments. I did learn that Adam and Warner are brothers. They have the same father, and Juliet ends up, I guess, killing Warner's father. Other than those two things, like I feel like nothing else happened in this book. Like I really just feel like this was just a setup for Juliet and Warner, and I'm not complaining about it. I love everything that happened in his book. I feel like this is definitely a 5-star book to me, and I am just really excited to just keep going. So next I'm going to read Fracture Me, and I believe this will be Adam's POV, and it's supposed to be the exact same layout as Destroy Me, where Warner was just kind of like giving his perspective of Juliet. So I am kind of excited to see, you know, what was going through Adam's mind in the first book. And after that, I'm going to literally jump right into Ignite Me, because I just need to know what happens with these characters and with this story. I love everything. I feel like I haven't been this invested in a series in so long. I am just going to keep going, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying this. So without further ado, let's just get right back into the vlog. Okay guys, so I'm not done reading yet. Like literally I'm on page 168, but like I feel like so much has happened, and like I just wanted to just like cut in the middle of me reading to kind of like talk about like this specific scene, because like, oh my god, like Adam is losing his mind right now, all because of Warner. And it's like, it's crazy. Warner shows up to like the resistance spot, like Juliet is reunited with everybody, great, but he shows up at like Adam's house where everybody is, and he like pretty much is like there to help. Like he's like, hey, I am actually against the reestablishment and I want to help you guys, and literally everybody is cool. Kenji's like whatever, like he's okay with it, everything is cool, but Adam literally flips out on Juliet because he's like, don't forget, like he's literally a horrible person, why are you changing up on him? She's literally doing that because she thinks she has feelings for him now. Don't get me wrong, I get both perspectives, but like from Juliet's perspective, she's kind of just like, you know, I don't actually know you that much, and like we kind of got into this really fast. They've broken up, like they've been broken up this whole time, but like he's still being weird towards her. I don't know, like I'm definitely gonna talk about this more when I do like the actual update, like once I'm done reading this section, but like that just really pissed me off because like it was like several pages of him just like going off on Juliet and Warner. Like he like stormed off, like he left the house. I don't know where he went, but it was just so dramatic, and he was just like, why are you defending Warner? He's awful. And Juliet knows that, but I get Juliet's point of view where she's like getting to know him and kind of like seeing that he's not a villain. It's more complicated than that, and Adam's just like, I'm not hearing it. I just wanted to talk about it. This is like the second time I filmed this clip, so I'm so happy it worked out this time. But yeah, I'm gonna keep reading because he's still going, like he's still ranting. She definitely has feelings for him, and I think everybody's starting to realize that, so I think the drama's just gonna keep escalating from here. Okay guys, so I'm here to give you an update because I finished Fracture Me and I got really far in Ignite Me. I almost said Unravel Me. I got really far in Ignite Me. I'm actually on chapter 39. I've been blowing through it, and I figured now would be a good spot to like give you guys an official update of like how it's going, what's going on, you know, my thoughts and all of that. So I'm just really excited to get to it. Okay, so I mentioned before that I thought Fracture Me was just going to be Adam's perspective of meeting Juliet for the first time, and it was going to be similar to Warner's perspective in the first novella, but I was like entirely wrong. Actually, it is Adam's perspective of what happens right after Unravel Me, and I think that's really cool because you get to see Adam freak out pretty much. Like everybody's freaking out, trying to get Juliet back, trying to figure out what happened, and I like that Adam and Kenji and like everybody just goes after Warner and try to get Juliet back. They pretty much think that Warner's gonna like kill her, so it's ironic now, like with Ignite Me, like knowing what happens after that. I really liked it at the time, and I don't know, I feel like I love the determination of it all, and it was so action-packed, which is cool. I feel like the action like did not falter at all between like the novella and the book before. So that was really cool. I liked how it really was like no time for a break in a way. I don't know, I guess I really like when things are fast-paced all the time to a certain extent, I guess. So that was really cool. And I also really like this novella because you get to like see James and Adam's dynamic as brothers a little bit more. It's like you can really see how much Adam cares about his little brother in this book. He's pretty much a father figure to him. And I forget that sometimes, actually. Like, I forgot they're, like, basically orphans. Actually, I think they are orphans. So it's interesting to see, like, how Adam treats his brother as a brother, but also as, like, a parental figure. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, so overall, I really liked the novella. And I was not annoyed by Adam in it. So that's literally amazing. And now I am going to talk about Ignite Me. This book is so action-packed and dramatic that I really don't want to put this book down. I love it so much. I think it's so good. The angst is so prevalent in this one, and I don't know why. I didn't realize I liked angst, but now I do. It's perfect in this book, and it's not a love triangle anymore, I don't think. It doesn't feel like it anymore, at least, so that's kind of nice. So basically, in this book, Warner tells Juliet that he has always wanted to destroy the reestablishment. I'm going to say I was pretty confused about that because I feel like that was not mentioned at any point before. Maybe I missed something when I was reading these, but I didn't get that impression at all. But I like that Warner is pretty much like teaming up with Juliet. Everybody seems pretty on board now, except for Adam, which makes sense. I feel like Adam is just going to be mopey probably for the rest of this book. I wouldn't be surprised if he came around in the end, but at the same time, I wouldn't judge him if he was still mad at Juliet too, because like I get it. I don't know, but I definitely feel like Warner and Juliet's dynamic started to get a little rocky in this book just because of the whole Adam thing. If Juliet ends up with Warner, then I would not be upset at all. I literally kind of think that she should be with literally anyone but Adam at this point because I just don't think they're good for each other. I don't know, I just feel like they need to all just be alone. But I can tell that Tahara Mafi really likes Warner and that this is going to happen, and I am not upset. I'm kind of just going through the motions, kind of just vibing, and I really, really like this series, and I'm just really excited to keep going. I want to try to finish this book today just because like there's really not a lot left. I'm literally like right smack in the middle of the book. So if I finish that and then start the next book, then I'll be really excited for it. And I'm happy because I get to take a little break from the novellas for a little bit after this. So I'm just really excited and I'm going to just continue reading and see what happens. Okay guys, it is time for an update because I literally finished Ignite Me and then I jumped right into Restore Me literally last night. I binged so much of it. I actually got to page 215. I really needed to slow down because I realized I was reading this book and I didn't give any updates about, you know, how I felt about Ignite Me. So here I am now, finally just giving my update. So Ignite Me ends with Juliet becoming like the next supreme commander of the reestablishment, which was really cool because she's literally not only the first woman to do it, but like the first woman to do it that has abilities. Wow, everyone is literally like very scared, very skeptical. She is ready to take action, and I was really surprised Warner didn't mind at all. Like, he didn't want anything to do with it, which I know was mentioned before, but I don't know, like, I figured he would kind of feel a little bit of reluctance for her, but he was literally just all for it. I believe in you, you can do it. So I do really like that. Warner also talks to Adam, and I don't know why, but like those scenes were actually kind of weird because the only times that they talked before, like, was when they were just screaming at each other and talking about Juliet. So it was actually kind of nice to see them talk, reconcile, and I guess come to terms with the fact that they may not like each other, but they are related, and you know, there's nothing they can do about that. So they're just going to, I guess, like, play nice from this point on, which I kind of like. It did get exhausting with Adam's like animosity and stuff. Like, it was really annoying after a while. So I'm glad that chapter of the book is closed. So overall, I really liked the story. I really don't think it was my favorite in the series so far, but overall, like, it was just very enjoyable. And then I literally couldn't wait. I jumped right into Restore Me last night, and I have been reading it until like this afternoon. I literally got to page 215, and I decided this would be a good time to just stop and reconvene about this story, because I'm going to be honest, I kind of forgot to give an update because I was so into this book, and I feel like this book is different in the sense of we kind of see Juliet reaching a next chapter in her life where she is in charge and in command, and she really does not know how to handle that. She wishes that Warner was the one who took over the reestablishment. At the time, she thought it was a good idea, but in this book, she's really like, what was I thinking? There's so much work that I have to do that I did not think about, which is crazy that she didn't think about it, but at the same time, it is very realistic. So I do like that approach to the story. Warner is also like really struggling in this book. He's like very closed off, and like he like distances himself from Juliet for the first half of the book just because he's still processing his father's death, and he's like constantly going through his dad's things, and like he just feels a lot of mixed emotions towards like how he should grieve. And I do kind of like how realistic it was, because Warner literally was talking to Juliet about how he hated his father, but he kind of would feel guilty for not feeling bad that he was gone. And I do kind of like that realistic element that was added to the story. Now, as far as Juliet's story goes, she is really having a hard time adjusting as the new Supreme Commander, because she finds out that the other Supreme Commanders around the world have pretty much been watching her in a way. Like, no one really has reacted to her electing herself. She feels a lot of like nervousness and reluctance because like she hasn't gotten a letter or anything from anyone wanting to meet her. So she decides to take it into her own hands and reach out to everyone herself. And she asks everyone to come to dinner, but only 2 people come, and that is when we meet Hader and Nazira, and they are the children of another Supreme Commander from another country. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what the country is, but they were sent there instead of their father to scope out who Juliet is, see what kind of commander she is, because everyone knows that Warner's dad was a huge threat. He was very scary, so they pretty much want to see if they should be scared of her. And Warner is very like reluctant about this. He wants to protect Juliet from this because he doesn't trust anyone. Then we have Juliet, who's kind of like, this could be a good thing, I want to reunite the world and things like that, but I don't think she realizes that that will take time, and it's kind of should be expected that the other Supreme Commanders around the world are nervous to see what will happen, because everything is happening really fast. Like I said, 16 days have gone by. It's a lot that has been happening, and she's just like really trying to get the ball rolling. But I am really excited to keep reading because I stopped at a really exciting point where Juliet finds out that she was adopted and that her biological parents are actually still alive, so she's not an orphan. I'm really excited for this though because she seems to have spiraled with this news. She's not taking it well at all. In fact, I'm kind of nervous that she is going to go back to how she was in the first book in the series. Some of her thoughts are very like weird. I feel like she's just experiencing a lot of imposter syndrome, so I'm really excited to just keep reading and see what's going to happen with that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to try really hard to finish this book today just because this is a really fast read, and so I'm just really excited about it. I hope you guys are enjoying this vlog. Please stay tuned for my next update. Hello, so I literally finished Restore Me last night, and I kid you not, like 5 minutes ago I just finished Shadow Me, and I just want to say wow. I feel like the stakes are so much higher now, and I really think I'm gonna like the second half of the series maybe more than I like the first half, and I think that's really exciting just because sometimes when you read a series that has so many books, it can be hard to keep going after a while, but I am happy that I'm not bored. Also, I think I'm getting sick, so I'm sorry if I seem a little like off in this clip. I don't know what happened last night, but like I woke up and I was just like I feel disgusting. I'm gonna still power through it and give you guys my update, but like I feel like I'm just really out of it. So basically, we learned that Juliet's sister was taken into custody a long time ago, like when Juliet was still a kid, and Warner knew the whole time. But the thing that's crazy is apparently she's still locked up, and this is why Juliet basically cracked, because she feels like this other part of her life has been out there for her to discover and know, and that opportunity for her to meet her sister was just ripped away from her, and for some reason she doesn't remember it and she doesn't know why. I think it's pretty weird, I guess, just because like it wasn't mentioned before in the series. There should have been more foreshadowing for that. I think that would have been kind of cool, but I don't know. I will say one thing that confused me is towards the end, Juliet apparently kills a bunch of people. I think it said like 600 people, but like I'm not really sure how that happened. Maybe I need to reread like the end of this, but like the whole time I was just kind of like, how did we get here? Like she was literally just giving a speech, and then the next thing you know, she's like freaking out and she's like, oh my gosh, like I just killed 600 people. Maybe that will be, you know, talked about more in the next book, and this was done on purpose. I hope it was, because I really hate when things like go over my head when I'm reading. It wasn't a bad plot twist at all. I thought it was actually really cool, but I feel like the whole time I was kind of like, what? Like, when did that happen? Okay. Another thing that happened is apparently Juliet's parents are the supreme commanders of Oceania, and they come to take her away. I kind of like that because basically Juliet is looking at old pictures of her as a child with this sister that she never knew she had, and she ends up figuring out that her name is not Juliet at all. I don't know why she was given a name change, but I do kind of like that. And I'm gonna be honest, when I first started reading the series, I kind of was like flipping, not looking at spoilers necessarily, but I wanted to just see all the POVs in every book, and I did notice there was a POV that said Juliet/Ella. I believe that's going to be in the next book, and I was really confused by that, so now it makes sense. I get it now. I don't know, maybe she's gonna go by both names and maybe she's not. I'm not sure, but that is really exciting. And now I am going to talk about Shadow Me, which is just Kenji's POV of Restore Me. It's not the worst novella ever, but I definitely liked Warner and Adams' novellas a lot better. This is basically just his POV of meeting the Supreme Commander's children, and he's like really struggling, I guess, with always being happy all the time. For some reason he feels like he has to do that. He doesn't want people to ever see him upset, and I'm not sure why exactly. It's clearly implied that it was like because of something that happened as a kid, but I feel like that should have been explained more. And Kenji also feels really isolated right now because he feels like he's just always surrounded by people in relationships and he doesn't have anyone. And I get that. It is really sad, especially because in this book and in the last book that I just showed you, Kenji is kind of like, I don't want to say flirting with the Supreme Commander's daughter, but like he definitely likes her, and whenever he tries to interact with her, I feel like things just do not go very well. But in this novella, they do talk a lot, and she's like, oh, like, I know you like me, and it's pretty obvious. I don't mind you being this obnoxious jerk. You're just clearly really bad at flirting. I did think that was funny, and I liked that realistic aspect of it. And I also like that this POV covered an argument that Juliet and Warner had before Juliet cut her hair. He pretty much was kind of like on the sidelines just like watching, and it was kind of awkward for him because like he's friends with both of them and he did not know what to do about the situation. I actually think he was like standing around in the hallway with Castle the whole time, just kind of like off to the side where they're like yelling at each other. But overall, like, I don't think this was a bad novella, but I will say this was my least favorite. And right now I really feel like I like Adam's novella the best. There's one more novella which is called Reveal Me, and for this one, I don't know who it's going to be about. So I think that's going to be interesting to see towards the end, but I really do like them. I think that they give a nice break in between, but they also add a lot of depth to the characters, which is really nice and it's so refreshing. So I am going to just jump into Defy Me right now, and I'm really excited for this because I'm just so close to finishing the series and I'm just so excited to be done. I love the series, but I don't know, this has been a lot of books that I've been reading back to back. I haven't been reading anything else in between, so I'm going to be really happy when I'm done and I can just like cleanse my brain from all of this fantasy dystopian stuff. I am just really excited to keep reading, so I'm just gonna jump right into this book. Okay guys, so I am officially on page 217 of this book, and I feel like now this would be a really good time to like catch you up on what's going on because literally so much has happened and I feel like it's kind of just throwing me in the ringer right now. Also, I'm so mad because I'm literally sick. I don't know what happened. I feel like my body just did a 180, so that kind of sucks. I'm like sneezing and then my voice is weird, but honestly it could be worse, but like it's just annoying. So basically at the beginning of this book, Juliet and Warner are kidnapped by Juliet's parents and they're taken to a new location in this universe called Oceania, and apparently that's where Juliet's biological parents are from and that's where they have been literally this entire time. For some reason, Tahara Mafi really likes Warner's dad because one, he's still alive, okay? And two, this was a plan orchestrated by him. I don't understand why he can't just stay dead. Like, what is the point in killing him off? Like, I feel like 2 other times in this series. Like, I feel like every time the story is going forward and we're discovering new characters and stuff, we go backwards. I don't get it. But anyway, we meet Juliet's parents and they are just 100% villain. Immediately, they are trying to wipe Juliet's memories and they're trying to like, I guess, do experiments on her in the like same way that they kind of did for her sister. This is interesting though because Warner's also I guess, in the process of getting his memories erased, but they both are having flashbacks of the two of them meeting as children. And it turns out that Juliet's mom tells Juliet that she was like a failed experiment and she was never supposed to leave confinement. She was never supposed to fall in love, make friends, be around a bunch of people. She was literally just supposed to be an experiment, and I think that's so sad. And they also kind of touch on Juliet's sister, and she was also a failure to them. They kind of just felt like they shouldn't have had kids at all, and I think that's so messed up. We also learned that Juliet's real name is Ella, so throughout the story it'll just go back and forth like Juliet, Ella. I'm actually happy I'm not like confused by that. So overall, like, it's not a bad story so far, but I am interested to see what's gonna happen now that Warner's dad is back in the picture literally again. So I am just gonna keep reading for the rest of the night, and hopefully I can finish this tonight. If not, I'll try to finish it tomorrow and give you guys like an update. This is definitely a fast-paced read, but again, like, this plot is just like, it's crazy. So I'm not really sure if I like it right now, to be honest, but I'm just gonna go with it. Kenji's just going through it. He's so upset that he's single while everybody's just coupled up around him. Aw. I mean, I get it. I just, like, I feel so bad about that. He wants a relationship so bad. Oh my god. Hello, everyone. So, I decided to just record on a whim tonight just because I finished the novella, and obviously I finished Defy Me, and I just couldn't wait to talk about it. I don't know. I'm just so excited to be almost done. I've been reading this series for like a month, and it's been so fun, and so let's just get into it. I'm really excited to just tell you guys my thoughts. So, Juliet ends up finding this long-lost sister that was teased throughout the middle of this book. Honestly, it doesn't really look good for the sister. Juliet, like, really cared about her sister, and I really liked that. As the book kept going, she was getting a lot of her memories back from her childhood, and it seemed like Nazira, Warner, Juliet, and her sister, they were all like really close as kids, and they used to like play together. They were friends. So it's really sad that her sister just ended up being this like failed science experiment, I guess. I'll say the one thing I was not expecting in this book was like how unexpectedly gruesome it was towards the end. Like, Juliet literally like punched her mom through her chest and like ripped her heart out. Like, oh my god, it was so, I wish I would have got my reaction for it, because I was just like, what? Like, it was so gruesome. And I sometimes forget that like Juliet can sometimes like get these random moments where she's just like really strong. So it was crazy. I mean, she did it because she was mad and her mom was obviously a villain, but it was so like brutal. In the end though, they end up escaping, like Warner and Juliet. Nazira ends up coming through for them and saves them. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like Nazira because I don't understand where her loyalties lie. She's very wishy-washy. I don't trust her. I don't know, she just makes me nervous. I think my favorite part of this book is just the fact that they did a really good job of like tying up the loose ends that happened in the beginning of the series, which is why I brought up like there were a lot of flashbacks about Juliet's childhood and how she knew Warner and Nazira and they were friends, because it really explained Warner's obsession with Juliet. She forgot everything, and Warner still had a lot of small little memories of Juliet. His obsession with her was basically just because he felt like he truly knew her. But now we are reaching the end of this vlog because I only have Imagine Me and Believe Me left to go, and I'm really freaking excited about this just because I am really excited to see how this ends. So I am going to officially start reading again tomorrow, so I will check back in. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching this video. Like, you know, it's really cool when people find my videos and they watch it all the way through. I feel like it's so nice just to see that, like, people find me entertaining. But yeah, so like I said, I'm going to start reading again tomorrow, so I'm gonna check back in with you guys then. Guys, I did it. I have officially finished the entire Shatter Me series, including the novellas. Oh my gosh, I honestly feel like I have no one else to tell about this. And like, I was gonna film this tomorrow, but I don't know, I couldn't wait. I feel like I just made the biggest accomplishment. And I'm so excited. It's literally insane how I'm holding technically 2 different series, I guess. The first 3 books were completely different than the last 3, and I 100% prefer the first 3 books in the series. I feel like the last 3 weren't terrible, but they were not my favorite, especially Imagine Me. I'm gonna be honest, guys, I DNF'd it. I DNF'd it because it was so freaking boring and weird. The first half was fine, okay? It was not awful, but it wasn't great either. And it was so slow too. Like, I feel like I reached a point where I just genuinely didn't care. So basically, Imagine Me took place maybe 2 days after Reveal Me and Defy Me. It was just a mess. Like, I found Kenji's POVs to be really boring in this book. Warner seemed really out of it for a lot of it, just because of Juliet's, like, hospitalization. It was kind of all over the place. Of course, Warner's dad, Anderson, made a comeback again, and this time Kenji shot him. I kind of just didn't care because he just kept disappearing and coming back. I kind of was just like, whatever about it. I really didn't feel like satisfied about it or anything. One weird thing that happened is Juliet randomly decided to, I guess, get a good look at Warner's dad. She started to think he was attractive. I thought that was weird because he literally just wants to kill her and use her. Juliet was just like, oh my gosh, like, I never realized he looked so much like Warner. I guess Warner looks like him. So yeah, that was that for Imagine Me. It's the worst book in the series, in my opinion, 100%. And then I, of course, read the Believe Me novella, and this takes place a couple of days after Imagine Me, and it's literally just Juliet and Warner planning the wedding. This one was fine. It wasn't awful. I definitely think it was a cute way to wrap up their story, I guess. Especially because in the end, like, they actually do get married. Juliet doesn't go by Ella anymore. And it just seemed like they were just trying to readjust after everything that happened in Imagine Me. But yeah, guys, like I said, I finished the series. I'm so happy that I did this. This was definitely my longest reading vlog to film just because it was so many books. I had so much fun doing it. This took me like a month and a half, almost 2 months. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad just because